All right. On this page 70, in that little chart, that little green labeled chart, it has these words that you need to understand and what they link up to their comparison symbol. So I hope you know that when I say less than, I mean that. Okay? Some of you learned it like the alligator. Some of you learned it as a bird eating seed. That's I've heard different ways. But I'm not going to draw teeth, and I'm not going to call it an animal. You just need to know that from left to right, I read that this number is less than that number. That's how you have to read it. All right, that's the first one. The second one is another number is greater than the second number. So that's translated very straightforward. The next two are a little bit different because you could say it a couple different ways. So do you see where it says A is less than or equal to? Okay, please don't get that confused. Less than or equal to, that's it. But what's the second way to say it? Do you guys see it? Right underneath it. Is at most. That's the one I do want you to get because that's very easy to get confused. So Mr. A is at most 35 years old. Does that mean that I am above 35 or below 35?
Below.
At most 35.
Below.
It means I am at maximum 35 years old or below. Way below, by the way.
22.
That's close.
13. 33.
Okay, so that's is at most. Is that less than or equal to? And then the other one is greater than or equal to. And how would you say that the other way? Is
At least.
Is at least. Is at least. So I ask this every year and I never know the answer. What's the minimum age to drive by yourself?
15
Not.
and a half.
So you can drive on the road by yourself at 15 and a half.
Yep, my brother does.
I think it's. Okay, all right, cool. I'll go with it.
Yeah, you get your restricted.
Gotcha. Okay, so restricted. So you can get your license, and we'll just say restrictive, but you can get your license when you are at least 15 and a half, right? So what's the minimum age of getting a license according to what we're saying here? 15 and a half. Can you get your license at 17?
Yes.
You can get it at 20. If you were just a latecomer, you can get it at 30, 40. But that's the smallest or the youngest age you can get it is at 15 and a half, is at least. That's why it's greater than or equal to. Yeah.
It changes in the state because like Arkansas is at 14.
Yeah. It does change.
And there's a golf cart line, so in my neighborhood, we got like
Good.
there's like 48 states that the golf cart is 14 instead of 15.
Oh, so it changes it. All right. The last symbol, as one of you brought up already, is not equal to. That's an inequality because, by the way, the word inequality means basically it's not equal. Like it's not equal. So, and I know that confuses some with the equal sign here, but we'll say it doesn't just equal whatever you're saying. In this case, it doesn't equal it at all. They're not equal to one another, and we've had that many times. By the way, I do want to say something. I want to commend you guys. The test grading all the up to this point, you're doing pretty well. By the way, it's going. I'm not marking a lot, which is a good thing. My red pen is still full of ink. But what you guys have been doing really well is showing your work. Some of you who kind of refused to do it in class, you still did it anyway. I'm like, that's good. One of you, I don't know who it was because I don't know whose name I was grading. I don't look at names when I grade. But I was looking at one, and you got it. I saw you got the right answer after erasing it, and then you erased your work, and you proved it to me why you got it right. So you have the work, you got the wrong answer, but then I looked at your answer, okay, it looked like it was erased. You changed it, and you went backwards, and you changed it, and you proved that your answer was right. I thought that was cool because it's when you make a mistake, and you know, wait, that answer doesn't work, it didn't check, you look backwards, and you're like, oh, that's why it's not right. So you corrected yourself by looking at your own work, and I thought that was great. That's awesome. And probably others of you did it, but I just didn't see it. This one person, I was like, that's so cool.
Did you say you were done?
No, I won't go through it. I think everyone's taking it, but I don't have the time to go through. I want to give you time for homework. Yes, sir.
For the odd integer one, I didn't know how to check it, so like I just went with my gut. And like,
Yeah, me neither.
after you give back the test, can you show me how to like check it?
Oh, yeah, like how to check to see if those answers are right.
I did the wrong number, so I still
Yeah, we still got it.
All right. The first thing you guys are going to have to do, and as I look at this, you're going to have to translate word statements into inequalities. So let's look at page 71. So just look across the page. And we're just going to do the try these. We're going to do them all real quick to get the these inequalities. Now, by the way, these are simple inequalities, so we're very grateful for that. Read me the inequality statement. So just read me the sentence, and then we'll go through it to see what the inequality is mathematically. So, Avery, read me that first one on the try these. First, it says define a variable and write an inequality for each word sentence. So please read the word sentence.
Jamie's arcade scores more than 1,200 points.
Okay, now, what is the value that you don't know? What's the value you don't know? Describe it. It's Jamie's arcade score. So you can call it J, you can call it A, you can call it S, you can call it X. Whatever you do, guys, you should define your variables, especially when it gets more complicated. So I'm going to go with S, score. I'm going to say S equals Jamie's. You don't have to do this every time, but I'm just trying to define Jamie's arcade score. Excuse me. That's Jamie's arcade score. Because then now people, when they see your inequality, they're going to be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Okay. Now, it says Jamie's arcade score is more than 1,200 points. So his score, how would you write more? How would you write more than 1,200 points? Yeah, Justin?
Like mouth pointing to this. I can't.
It's hard. You can say, the way I do it is I say the arrowhead, it kind of looks like an arrow pointing to the right or pointing to the left because that's hard to describe. But you can say the mouth opening, just don't call it an animal. The mouth pointing to the S. Okay, and then 1,200 points. Now, is it more than or equal to or just more than?
More than.
It just said more than. That means his score cannot be 1,100. Why is that? It's less than. And it can also not be 1,200. Because that would be equal to. So it could be 1,201. It could be 1,200.5. It just can't be 1,200. It can be anything above that. All right, that's number one. That's it. That's all you do. For those problems, that's all you do.
Easy.
Yeah, it's very nice. All right. Nelson, read for me the second scenario. Miss Jones.
Ms. Jones said each student's class party expense is to be a maximum of $15.
Okay, now this is a wordier sentence. That means there are more words that might throw people off. But what is our variable? I'll give you a hint. It's not Miss Jones. It's not her. She's not the variable. It's not even the student. It is this word.
Expense.
Expense. So we're going to go with E equals expense. And you still should define the expense of each student. Because you're like, if you just put expense, you're like of everybody? No, of each student. Okay, it says that the expense is to be a maximum of $15. Another way of saying it is the expense is to be at most $15. At most means what? Less than or equal to, and we said 15. And you can put 15 or you can say $15 with the dollar sign, but that expense is less than or equal to 15. So could it be $15? Yes. Could it be $15.50? No, because it has to be 15 or below. Okay, good. Do number 3 and number 4. Give me a definition of your variable and give me the inequality. I'll ask 4 people. 1 for the variable, 1 for the inequality, and then for the other one too. Yes, sir?
Do we not have to put dollar sign?
You could have done that. That's fine.
Can we put a sign for it?
You can or you don't have to on that because you told me the expense, so that's telling me, oh, he's talking about money. But that's a good thought. All right, number 3 and then number 4. Again, I want a definition of a variable because if you don't define it, people are like, what are you talking about? Yeah, 3 and 4, please, yes.
Could you put your variables?
On these, don't just put 1. There are inequalities that have 2, but not yet. That's later on. Yes, sir?
Does exceed mean like pass?
It means above, yeah. It's above whatever they're trying to say. But it does not what? It does say does not exceed, or it does exceed? Does not exceed. Okay, so yeah, that's the negation of exceed. So exceed means goes beyond. This one says it does not exceed. Okay, Mr. A's Season 2 Apex Legend victories is above 25. I'm just kidding. No, it's like 6. And I haven't played it in a long time.
Don't feel bad. I don't even have a
You don't have one week.
I've never played that. I don't
Scare
play.
me.
I got like
Huh? The rate.
first day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. I just got used. Or Bangalore, I've got, I think, 1.
I used to use,
Lifeline. Oh, I remember
It's
those
good.
days.
Medic's always useful.
Miss Gray, who's your favorite?
Rate.
Hate it.
Sorry.
You like
I'm still a kid. All right. Sorry?
You like Portal?
I do, yeah. That helps me. Like if someone is attacking me for lack of,
Mr. A,
I use the portal. Get out of there. Okay.
Mr. Booker.
Okay. Let's keep going before I get lost. All right. Sophie, what is your variable, and how do you define it in number 3?
T equals the temperature of
Okay.
Al's mixture.
T is your temperature, and I'm just going to abbreviate. I think it's good that you said the temperature of Al's mixture. Yep. Okay. And then what's the inequality, Gracie?
Added a different variable, but
Okay, that's fine.
T is less than 72.
Okay, it says does not exceed 72, so it is less than or equal to. So T is less than or equal to 72. Now, why isn't it not someone else? Why is it not just less than 72? Because that is part of it. Yeah, Annie Grace?
Well, it says it doesn't exceed, so it just says that it doesn't go above, but 72 is included in that.
And guys, this is the whole thing. Listen, I feel like an English teacher talking about this because like we're looking at verbs, we're looking at subjects, and we're looking at the predicate. We're like, what are we looking at here? I'm like, that's English stuff, and I love it, but I know it seems out of place. It's not because math includes all that. All right, Daniel, thank you. Give me the variable and your definition on number 4.
The carpeted area of the school library is C.
So you put C. Here's the English question. What's the one word that would define C if you could?
Area.
Area. Okay, good. Carpeted area, which is clear. So it's the area of the the carpeted area of the school library. So we're just gonna go with area. That's fine. Good. See, that's good English. And I needed inequality. Yes, Andrew.
C is less than 82.
C is less than 82. And that one I hope you guys got because it says is less than 82 square something. Square feet. All right, you guys okay with writing those? You can translate it. They're simple sentences, but you do have to think through them sometimes, and you do have to define it. All right, just when you thought we were over, we just begun. This is cool. The next thing we're going to go through, guys, I told the 7th graders this. I'm just going to admit it to you guys. Every single year, I learn something new as I teach. And sometimes you taught me it. Michelle, I never thought of that way. Thank you. I should say thank you more often, but I never thought of it that way. But it's correct. That's true. Oh, wait, you said that. And that triggered in me. Oh, my goodness, that is so, this goes together. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use two words that you guys did not like in those word problems and see if you can get more comfortable with them. Okay, so here's what I have. I want you guys to graph A is greater than or equal to -5. Let's just practice that. So just graph that. You're like, graph what? Okay, here's what I want you to do. You put the number that you're comparing in the middle, go one above and one below. Do you guys remember this? It's like deja vu. I remember when you guys were just 7th graders.
Mr. A, is this where you do the circle?
Good. There you go, Philip. You're in good
Oh, it's where
company.
you draw the arrows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, you cut like
And if you struggled last year, guys, you should get better this year. That's what's gonna happen.
Isn't it you fill it in if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to?
Yeah, if you have an equal to part, so this has an equal to part, it's gonna be a closed circle.
We saw the
Good.
8th graders doing this last year. I remember that now.
Yeah, there you go. You guys get to be in their shoes.
We did this.
We did it last
No,
year.
we did it.
Yeah.
We also saw it on the excellence board. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you did it in 7th grade. You'll do it again this year, and you'll do it again after that. I mean, it just keeps coming up.
Like if it's not say equal to sign, then it's not shaded in?
Yes, if it did not have that equal to sign, it'd be unshaded. All right, listen. I need you to get this down straight because this is where people start messing it up. In this way, the way it's written out, it's really nice. It says A is greater than or equal to -5. All the numbers that are greater than -5 are which direction?
Right.
To the right. Okay, so that's easy enough. Just shade it. By the way, your book makes a good point. It says this. Since you cannot list all the answers, you cannot list them. I could never list all of them, but I can show them to you. All these numbers in here, and you're like, what numbers are you talking about? What number is in between -5 and -4? -4.5. -4.55 is also in there. -5.55, sorry, -4.555 is also in there. Could you list all the numbers that were there? No, just show me them. And that's how you do it. Okay, but anyway, how many of you remember the little trick? Wherever that arrow's pointing, that's where you're going to point. Okay. Yes, very nice. Okay, graph this right here, right now.
We already did.
It's the same thing. Okay, this is how I would read it. -5 is less than or equal to A. You're like, wait, less than means to the left, right? Okay, -5 is less than or equal to A. But isn't this still, now this is reading backwards. A is greater than or equal to -5. That's what you mean, and that's what I need to say. You can see it either way. Guys, which way do we prefer, you think? The top. Okay, just do it that way. But you could work out an equation and get it reversed, but it still means this graph. Please don't mess that up. Okay, I'm going to do something here, and it's called set builder notation. All right? Oh, set. Set builder notation. All right, so this is the first time we talk about this, I believe, in our class. Okay, this inequality is not written in set builder notation, but all we have to do is this. Okay, so you got the inequality. It's as simple as can be, which is nice. I'm going to put a little symbol here. It's not an absolute value symbol because I only have one of them, so it's not absolute value of anything. Then I'm going to put an A. Then I'm going to put my brace on. Okay, do you guys remember sets, replacement set, solution set you did on your test?
Yep.
Do you remember that's where we get the word set? That's how we get set. Okay, but this builder notation idea, okay, let me read this to you, and then I'm going to have 4 of you read it to me back. This is read. A is any number such that. Do you remember such that? Remember how many of you remember that on your word problem? Such that. How many of you you couldn't get over that for a while? It took you a while. A is any number such that A is greater than or equal to -5. That's how you read it. I'm going to say it one more time. A is any number such that A is greater than or equal to -5. Okay, Elijah, go. Read it.
A is any number such that A is greater than or equal to -5.
Okay, Hagen.
A is any number such that A is greater than or equal to -5.
Okay, good. Dylan.
A, any number such that A is greater than or equal to -5.
Michelle.
I forgot it.
That's okay. Try your best.
A is any number such that A is greater than or equal to -5.
Okay, good. If you can say it, you're already in a good place. What does such that mean?
In this
Nelson?
situation.
In this situation. A is any number, guys. in this situation, a is greater than or equal to -5. You're like, wait, what? Why do you have to say a is any number if it's greater than or equal to -5? Okay, guys, listen. Sometimes a is not any number. Sometimes a can only be an integer.
So it could be like 5.
6, -2. Here's an example. I'll give you one that's better when we actually have it up here, but here's the thing. When I'm talking about the students in my classroom, I don't say, I can have at most 12.5 of you. We don't say that. I can have at most 12. Why don't we say halves when we're talking about people?
Because then you have to cut them.
Yeah, it's not nice. Not a nice thing to do. So I would say a is any integer such that a is less than or equal to 12. I would say that because I'm talking about only integers, not any numbers. So we'll get to that more and more as we go. I'll keep knocking that into your brains until you really, really get it. Okay, let's do this one. Graph this, please. Set builder?
No.
Or
On the number line, like 6.5 and 7.5 is 5.5.
so on this one, what I would say is you could do 6 and 7. You can put it in the middle, so that's okay. As long as you're telling me you know where that number is. Yeah, and you can tell me the number before and after, which could be an integer. So it doesn't. You don't have to put 6.5 in the middle. You can. Okay, I'm going to start off with my number line. Yay, got it.
We can switch the order, right?
You may, as long as you're still describing that. How many of you are not liking this too much, like 6.5 is greater than m? I'd rather see it as m is less than 6.5. Okay, if 6.5 is greater than m, that means m is less than 6.5. Does that make sense? Okay, if I'm, dare I say, if I'm heavier than Philip, that means he's lighter than me. Is that true? If I'm heavier. I got a scale. You want to go? No. If I'm heavier than him, he is lighter than me. If I am heavier than Philip, Philip is lighter than me. That's how you talk about it. Okay. I'm going to go with 6.5, and some of you did this. You didn't have to. Yeah, sorry. Do numbers that are close by. Yeah, don't go too far. All right. What kind of circle goes in 6.5? Why open? It's not equal to. And the line goes to the
Left.
left.
Whichever way you want.
If you do whichever way you want, you're going to get it. Half of you are going to do it possibly wrong. So you don't want to go anywhere you want. It's this one right here. Okay, now write it in set builder notation. Go. Set builder notation. Set builder notation.
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
Okay, so here, not proper set builder. Ready? Always start with your brace. M is any number such that m is less than 6.5. Close.
Well, we have to write it in self-set.
Yes.
Were your answer already on the test?
Yes. Yes. Oh, here's the question that I'm going to rephrase it. This is what you need to write when it asks for set builder. It won't always ask you for set builder because there's a second type.
Why do we need set builder? It just makes it harder to read. Well,
No, really, right now it might be hard because you're not used to it, but it really makes it clear. Again, is m always any real number? No. When it's restricted, we need to be able to say it. And listen, right now there's no restriction, but when you see the change, you'll be like, oh, you just changed this. Instead of, oh my goodness, now we have to do all this? Where did that come from? Get the easy, basic way of writing set builder. When we start adding more things, you will be more comfortable and able to do it. Avery?
Could you swap the 6.5 and make it?
Okay, in proper set builder, it's nice to do the variable first. I didn't say you have to, but please try to do it because it helps me, it helps you, helps the world. Okay, anyway, yes, Justin.
What's the point of set builder?
Yeah,
Like, it makes it
Again, guys, m is not always a real number, so when it isn't, you have to define it, and you can do it this way easily. You can't do it this way. There's nothing to define. So this is what you learned in pre-algebra, algebra 1, and then they're going to add more to it. Trust me. All right, let's go back, and I'm going to give you another type of notation. It's called interval notation. So go back to that last problem. Hopefully you have some room. Interval notation. I like this one because it makes you think a little bit. Okay? And eventually it's going to make you realize, oh, that makes sense. But maybe not always at first. Okay. All right, that's set builder notation. Now I'm going to write in interval notation. Okay, this way is unique, but it's similar to things you've done. Remember ordered pairs? You guys remember ordered pairs? Parentheses, number, comma, other number. It's similar to that, but I'm going to show you what the interval notation is, and then you tell me where I got this stuff from. This is really cool. Okay, I'm going to put a bracket, and they're not random. This means something. I'm going to put -5. Like, okay. Do you see where I got the -5, by the way? Does that kind of make sense why a -5 would be there? Okay. Then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put infinity.
Nope.
Parentheses. Okay. Okay. Stay with me, guys, because I'm going to point some things out. Stay with me. You're going to see this in Algebra 2 and Pre-Calc, and it's going to mean something. It's going to help you out with a lot, just to understand it. But look, guys. Okay. Do you notice that I have -5 on the left side? Do you see that? It's on the left of infinity. Look at my graph. -5, and then you know how I graph it? Where am I going with that arrow? And where am I really trying to head toward? I'm going toward infinity. Right? Okay. Now, do you notice that I have a bracket here and a parenthesis there? So that's different. Here's what I wanted some of you to get it. Right here, this means closed. This means closed. And you're like, what do you mean closed? That means it cannot go past -5. Like, right? It doesn't go. It stops at -5. It's done. That's the closed point, and it's a closed circle, so that kind of helps people out. But I have a parenthesis there. What do you think that means? It means open. You're like, wait, but there's no open circle there. But do you notice when you're going to infinity, when do you stop? Never. You just keep going. When you think you got there, you just keep going. That's a boundary point that's saying it just keeps going. There's no boundary really there, but for interval notation, here it is. All right, let's do the next one. All right, so here's my graph, and here's how I'm going to do it. Ready? I'm going to do parentheses. It's kind of straight. Look at my graph as I do this. I'm going to put -infinity. Huh.
I don't like this at all.
That's okay. Just stay with me because it's the first time I told you. And then I'm going to put comma.
-5.
Oh, sorry, 6.5 because this one's different. 6.5, comma.
Comma?
Wait, there's no bracket.
Oh, sorry, comma. Parentheses. Parentheses.
Yeah, what about the bracket?
No brackets.
Why not?
Okay, ready, guys? Look at this. It's an open circle. This means open. So what does a bracket mean according to the last slide? It means closed. What does a parenthesis mean? Open. Now, do you notice that with infinity, there's always an open parenthesis next to it, whether it's on the left or it's on the right? Okay, that's always the case.
Oh, I know.
All right, let's try. Let's keep trying it. I'm going to keep going. Yeah, there's never an end. So you're never going to say, I stop here. No, it just keeps going.
Wait, why did you put the bracket?
On where? Oh, because it was an open circle on...
Oh, you put the bracket.
Okay, here's how I'm going to correct that thought.
To me.
Not going to call you out online. You say it doesn't make sense to me. And that helps you because I know there is sense, I just don't know yet, and it takes time. So, yes, thank you. Okay, let's do this one. X is greater than 10. Graph it real quick. Write it in set builder. And some of you can try interval. I want to see if some of you can try interval. All right. So I'm going to graph it. And then I want set builder, which is going to look like this. and then I want to try interval. Some of you can get it. Everyone's going to have a comma.
A lot of stuff to remember.
There is, but this is it. Once you get to this part, we're done for today's lesson. Okay. How many of you could graph it? All right, so what kind of circle goes on 10?
Open.
Open. And then line going to the left or to the right?
Right.
All right. So that's good. You can graph it. Hopefully you're good with that. Who can do it in Set Builder? Elijah, go. X is any number.
X is any number such that
X is, excuse me? Greater than 10. Thank you. All right. Greater than 10. All right, that's Set Builder. You got it. All right, who can try interval? I'm just trying to see. Well, I thought you didn't get it back there, sir. You just told me you didn't get it, so we'll call it.
It's worth a shot.
That's true. I'm going to have Jack do it. You tell me if he's right or wrong. Try it out.
So, like,
Parentheses.
this one, and then 10, and then infinity, and then parentheses.
There you go.
Definitely right.
It's definitely right. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, how did he get a parenthesis next to the 10? What kind of circle's on 10?
It's open.
Open. How do you get a parenthesis on infinity? It just keeps going. It doesn't end. And notice that infinity positive is on the right side. Where would negative infinity go? To the left. Because that means, guys, by the way, how do I get this interval? I use the graph. Either I drew the graph or I know the graph in my head. That's what helps me to do it.
Will there ever be on the right side?
Bracket? Yeah. You want it? The bracket? Yeah. How about this? Let's do one. Huh?
If the arrow was going to the left, what was the interval?
Okay, if the arrow's going left, it'd be parenthesis, negative infinity, comma, 10, parenthesis. All right. I'm going to leave you with one more problem. How many of you kind of get this? Kind of. I'm not saying you're going to be a pro at this and you should know it. All right, here's your test. I need 20 of you. I'll be nice today. 20 of you. Stay quiet, guys. Stay quiet. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the inequality in one form, and you need to give it in the other two forms. So the three forms are graphing it, Set Builder, and interval. I'll give it in one of the ways. You give me the other two. One of the ways, you give me the other two. All right.
Can you give us the graph? That would be too hard.
All right. I wanted the other two ways. That is interval. You need to give it to me in Set Builder and in the graph. Uh-oh. Don't worry, only 20 of you. Yes. And I think everyone's here. Yep. So you got a good advantage. So I want the graph and I want Set Builder.
It doesn't matter what variable we use.
It doesn't because I did not define it. You're right. So you can use any variable. X is a nice one because it's like a standard convention, but you can use your variable. Set Builder and the graph. All right, how many of you are doing the graph first? I think the graph is the easiest one to do next because that is the graph in interval notation form. You're like, what?
I don't know the variable.
You don't. You can call whatever.
Yeah, you can pick it.
You pick one variable in this one. Okay. The graph. Gracie, are you done? Are you sure? All right, awesome. Give me the graph. So I got 80 in the middle, and I'll just go with 81 and 82. Oh, sorry, 79. Okay, go ahead. Ooh, are you sure about that?
Yes, Chris.
All right. Then? Positive infinity goes to the right? You're positive? Wait, positive infinity? Or positive? Infinity, yes. All right, that's the graph. This is the graph.
Oh, I got the next one.
Set builder, Darius.
The little wiggly thing. Okay. Yeah.
You pick your variable.
M.
M. Mason.
Line.
Such that.
M is. Oh, never mind. It is greater than or equal to 8.
Let's go, baby.
Brace.
All right, time for me to check. I want you to point to your set builder. I'll look at the graph if I need to, but set builder is the one I want. Set builder, set builder, set. Sorry, do you mind pointing?
Mr. I put the sign the other way.
Point to it so I can see it real quick. All right. So, okay, good. I see it.
I put the sign the other way, but I changed it.
I only need 20 more people. No, I think I need like 5 more people. No, 8 more people. What am I doing? All right. Yep.
Look at that, but I messed up on the graph.
Okay, all right. But do you know what you did?
Yeah. I got the graph after you.
Okay. I'm gonna pretend I can see that.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When you do like the interval, like here,
I saw that and I saw that. Good.
when you do the interval here, would it not be like 5.5 or 6.5?
So what your parentheses is saying for an open circle is saying 6.5 is a boundary, but it can't be 6.5 itself. Because technically 6.45 would work. 6.4445. So yeah, you're just saying the boundary is right there and it can't be that number, but anything before it would be working. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Good thought. Okay. Hey, we had
18.
25 minus 4. And for you quick math people, you're like, is that good or bad? No, that means 21. So that's a good thing. You had greater than 20, which is greater than or equal to 20. All right, your homework tonight, guys. 2 through, I think I'm changing it here. I'll go 2 through 26, even. Yeah, I changed one. I took some problems, but that's fine. Bye-bye, Swivel.